Ja, hello and welcome to another episode of the weekly Spielworxx chat. My name is Uli Blennemann. The main topic today will be ConWorxx. But before, I'd like to briefly talk about a specific aspect of deck building that came to my mind. So I've played Eminent Domain recently, and probably for the first time since 2012, 2013. And the game does have some very neat mechanics. For example, the leader and the ability to follow other players. So especially in a 4-player game, this reduces downtime too. But I did not like the static market at all. So by this I mean that no new cards are introduced that people may buy during the game. Everyone has the same choice of cards to purchase for the whole full game. And I noticed that I personally prefer much the changing market model of some deck building games, where you have a choice of cards when it's your turn, then you purchase a card or several cards, and then these cards are replaced by cards from a draw deck. So you are facing new opportunities and new challenges each turn. You can also not count on buying a specific card. It may have been bought by a different player before. And let me be here somewhat polemic, and let me cite Charles Wasey. He's a real true hobby veteran from the UK, and he started writing gaming reviews in the early 70s. And he published his magazine Perfidious Albion for several decades starting in 1975. And he said years ago, so this is not new, winning and status are the fetishes of the ordered gamer. Narrative and atmosphere, those of the chaotic gamer. And putting this in consideration or in context with the deck building aspect that I mentioned before, I think I'm a chaos gamer. So, but enough of the polemics here. And maybe if you are willing, or if you would like to, you can let me know how do you see this. If you prefer in a deck building game a static market where all the cards can be bought all the time, or a changing river market model. So I'm always interested in deck building games and in your opinions. And there are already a few people. So hello to everybody here, and and my how was your holidays? My brief holidays, they were very nice. So I was away from my desk from Sunday to Friday, and it wasn't spectacular at all. It was in Lower Saxony, but almost to the North Sea coast. And we had a small apartment, and next to it a canal. And so we had a small boat, rowing boat, and we rented bikes. So that was our days, and it was fantastic to get away and see something else and do something else. And Lower Saxony in that part is totally flat, so you can bike in a very, very good way. And Matt is saying, I prefer a changing market, but I think the static market is a needed feature for Eminent Domain due to the follow mechanic. Yes, so absolutely correct. In this game, you need this. If this would be a changing market, then the game cannot work at all. But I was just thinking about this feature in the game. I prefer the chaos as well. Somebody is saying a little chaos, not too much. Yeah, so you are not a chaos gamer. You're so a somewhat chaotic gamer. But I agree there has to be a little bit of luck in games. And Daniel, I see him. Guten Tag. Yeah, that's perfect. Steve is saying river model. Yes, I agree. So, but as Matt said, it prefers it depends a little bit on the in the game on the game. Yeah, nice. Rowing boats and bikes, perfect holiday. Yes, for me, yes. And I had hoped that I'm not thinking about games during these days. But I was biking with my wife, and so in most of the time she was in front of me because I'm a little bit faster than her. So, and if I'm in the lead, then yeah, well, it's not that good. So I can follow her tempo, and on a flat surface, and you're biking for hours. And automatically my mind went to games, and I had so many good gaming ideas. And the good thing is, and I tweeted this, that I'm not a game designer because I cannot, I have these ideas, but I cannot bring them to life. So that was fortunate. Daniel is asking which game are you thinking about. I was talking about Eminent Domain, but I did not want to say this is a bad game because of the static market. No, because of the leader and follow, it needs it, as Matt pointed out. But I had the feeling that I like a little bit more of chaos in my games. I don't like these planned thing that you see all the cards for the whole game. But now back to ConWorxx. So I will tell you a little bit about this online convention. And of course, there is already a little bit at my website. It has a special header, so ConWorxx, you will find it under ConWorxx. But of course, at a later time, I will post the full program, or almost the full program, to the website, because I want to keep one or two surprises. So, ConWorxx is the name of the Spielworxx online convention, and it will be held on October 9 and 10, as you probably already know. On Friday, October 9, it will start at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, so that is 4 p.m. here in Central European Time, and stop at about 3:30 p.m. EDT, which is 9:30 p.m. CET. And on Saturday, I will start at 3 a.m. EDT, probably way too early for you overseas people, which is 9 a.m. in the morning over here, and it will run till about 4:30 p.m. EDT, which is 10:30 p.m. CET. So it's a complete full day on Saturday. And where will it be? It will be here. It's a Twitch channel, and of course, it is a free event. Who would pay for this? On Friday, I'll start with an overview of the online convention. Then I will have my first guest, that is Andreas Odendahl, better known as Ode, who is, among many other games, the co-designer of La Granja and Solarius mission by Spielworxx. Afterwards, I'm having the always amazing Harald Lieske as guest. Harald, as you may know, is of course the artist of all Spielworxx games, and he's quite camera shy normally. So I'm really very happy to talk to him about gaming graphics and about his style, and I'm certain this will be wonderful. And if you have questions, this is true for the whole convention, you can put them in the chat window, and we may even answer. So that is Ode and Harald. And after that, there will be a 3-player game, live and online, of the Grand Trunk Journey by Claude Sirois, whom I saw earlier here. And he is the designer, of course, of this great game. And all online games that I'm doing at ConWorxx will use Vassal as platform. And for all online games at ConWorxx, the viewers may bet on the winner. And among the correct guesses, I will then raffle off a Spielworxx game. And if you want to really win a game, you should not bet on me, but you knew this. After the game, I won't let Claude go, because we will talk about his second release for Spielworxx, which is a 2021 game. It's the title is Griffintown, and I'm very excited about this 2021 release. So we will present it for the first time in some detail. On Saturday, the second day, I'll start with a breakfast and a guest, the wonderful Ella of Melbourne, Australia. So why Ella? Well, at the last two Essen game fairs, she was my breakfast buddy, because we were in the same hotel. So we met for breakfast and talked, and we will do the same thing here on Saturday morning. We'll talk about gaming in general and her point of view from down under. Yeah, and yes, for me it is a breakfast, and for her it's a late lunch then. So we'll do this in the morning. And then there will be a 3-player online game of Throne of Allegoria, which is Spielworxx October 2019 release by Robin Lees and Steve Mackenzie. So I'm very excited for this online game. Afterwards, we will talk about 2021 releases. So first Taros by Bernd Scholz. That is our first game for next year. And afterwards, we will talk about 1837 Saxonia by Wolfram Janich. In both cases, the designers will be present as well. So you'll be able to ask Bernd or Wolfram some questions. And 1837 Saxonia is our Spielworxx first 18xx release ever. And regular viewer, we had him here earlier, Matt Wolf. He will then take over and tell you more about Squaring Circle, which is a game that I'm truly in love with. So I'm really looking forward to that presentation and to the 2021 release of Squaring Circle. Then we will move to another online game, this time The Cost, including lead designer Mo Canales. And this is, of course, serious stuff for serious people. I'm looking forward to this. Before, I will then fall into fanboy mode, because I will talk to Cole and Drew Worley, and I'm as you know, I'm a huge Worley Geek fanboy, and we will talk about Pax Pamir 2nd edition, which is probably already here in Germany, the German edition at that time. And we will also talk about the 2nd edition, much changed edition of John Company, and about anything these two gentlemen want to talk. And afterwards, Cole and Drew will kill me then in a 3-player online games of Pax Pamir. And I would be totally happy if I at least get the Harry Flashman card. Then I'm already in heaven. And the convention will end with a very special guest of honor, and which I won't mention right now. But for 30 minutes, I can guarantee you this, we will have fun, and I'm absolutely certain. We'll also ask a few silly and not so silly questions, and we'll raffle off a few more Spielworxx games to viewers who are giving the correct answers. And this is definitely not a quiz where you need to study your lexicon or whatever. So this is mainly some silly questions. And most importantly, the main aspect for me is this is ConWorxx. It's a very small and very cozy convention. And it should not be hectic. And this is a convention not to sell more games, but just to having a good time. And yes, there will be some info, of course, on Spielworxx new releases. So as I just said, all 2021 releases will be presented by the designer. So I think this is a wonderful feature, and I'm very happy that Matt and Bernd and Wolfram and Claude are willing to do this. They are spending a great deal of their time for this, so I'm very thankful. So there will be some information on Spielworxx releases, but ConWorxx is being done so that we all be and stay positive. So this is should be the main feature. We will also have two special and most exciting announcements, one each day. So these are the things that I can't mention at this time. So this is in brief, very brief outline what I'm looking forward to do on October 9 and 10. And let me now check again if there are some questions here, some comments. Yes, I saw that you had lots of ideas. Yeah, some ideas I had when in my holidays, but I'm not a designer, so that is one. Daniel is asking, can I virtually stay on your couch? Yes, of course you can. So I will put your photo here and I will Photoshop something, so you can virtually stay here. That is not a problem. Harald would be interesting to see. Yeah, not only to see. Of course, he's a very handsome person, so of course it's always good to see him. And he was here till 5 o'clock my time, so till an hour ago. So we talked about some projects here. So I had the pleasure of seeing him in person. But he's also a very knowledgeable and also very kind person, and he knows his graphics. And you will be able to talk to him and ask him why he's doing this stuff and why his games are very different or very special. So I'm really excited having him here. And Tabletop Games blog, I think your first name is Oliver, so hopefully I got this right. I've got a podcast series all about board game artists, so I'd love to speak to him. Yeah, if you drop me a mail, I can at least give you his email address so you can get in touch. Matt is saying probably for Griffintown, for a Grand Trunk Journey, sorry, I'm going to bet on you. So Claude, yeah, Claude is, well, he has played this game probably a few times. So yeah, I think he's a good player, but the third player in that game, so I will be playing in Claude, but the third player is also very good. So we'll end. Hello Mo, yeah, I mentioned you before. So, and we will of course be in another game. And Daniel, you can bet on me to win Squaring Circle. Well, Daniel. So we'll see. So yeah, but I saw Daniel playing some games at BGG. So I think you played Crescent City Cargo and you played Squaring Circle and Raising Chicago. And of course, Daniel is a very good player. That's correct. And then he's saying I'm a beast at Matt's games. This is absolutely true. And they are unbalanced for people named Daniel. Yeah, probably there has to be something. Oliver. So yes, it's Oliver. So yeah, but I'm terrible with names. So I'm glad that I got this right. And there's Marcus, Purple Shiba. Sorry for being late to the party. Less home office, less Spielworxx chat. Yeah, life can be tough. So, but I think you can listen to the Spielworxx chat later. But it's good here in Germany, despite some increasing COVID numbers that we are experiencing. But compared to all our neighbors here in Europe, and of course, compared to Brazil and the US, so we can be very glad that the numbers are so low. And then of course it means that we are getting out of home office. In generally, although you missed a couple of minutes here of ConWorxx, I think it's a very good thing that we are seeing this happening. Mo is asking, yes, we will all games will be done using Vessel at the convention. Why is this? If you had experienced me and Daniel was playing at the same table, if you see me using Tabletop Simulator or Tabletopia, you know why I'm doing Vessel. So first, I'm using Vessel for at least 15 years. That's the first advantage. So, and I think the 3D effects, the physics engine, in Tabletop Simulator and in Tabletopia, they are both awful. People are just knocking stuff over, and the game takes 3 times as much time as in normally. So I prefer Vessel, which is of course just 2D. Doesn't look that nice, and of course everything needs to be blinky these days. That's why Tabletop Simulator and Tabletopia are so much more popular. But there's another feature that why I'm preferring Vessel, because as some people know, and Claude of course knows this because he did a Griffintown a Vessel module for testing, it logs everything. So so this is very good for blind testing. So you can give a playtest group the test module and the rules, and they can play along. And if they start and end the Vessel log, they can afterwards send the full file back to you. So, and you can watch it step by step, and you see, or you may see, why they made a mistake. If somebody's saying, well, I had 50 victory points more, it could be that they were playing something wrong, and you can see this. Or you notice, wow, at that time the game is really spinning out of control, and you see it's at that point because a card maybe had some effects are too strong. So that is another huge advantage, in my opinion, over TTS and Tabletopia, because very easily it locks all games, so you can follow it, and it's great for testing and blind testing. Okay, that was what he said. Yes, there was a lot of swearing. There was lots of swearing when Uli played on Tabletop Simulator. Yeah, I don't know who was doing this, but this bloody idiotic program, I hate it so much. So it's like root canal at the dentist. So is root canal at the dentist or Tabletop Simulator? What is better? I'm not certain. So I'm really not certain. Yeah. So yeah, these are the main things. Do you have some other comments for me on ConWorxx or on maybe on the deck building aspect or on anything else? Otherwise, I will briefly say that, because I mentioned this here 2 or 3 times already, but I'm getting these emails all the time and really now daily. Is Spielworxx a part of Spiel Digital? And then I'm responding, no, I'm not a part of Spiel Digital. And some people are really surprised, why aren't you doing this? So what's wrong with Spiel Digital? And so first thing, again, I repeat this, I wish Spiel Digital a huge success. I think online conventions will be a thing to stay. It will be an important aspect of future conventions and fairs, and hopefully it will be a tremendous success. It's just not something I think is good for Spielworxx at this moment, and for me personally, because I don't believe in pre-produced material, so stuff that has been, videos that have been recorded in advance. First, I don't have the technical equipment to do this well. And second, I think people will watch, it's like a Kickstarter video where you watch the first 60 seconds or 90 seconds and then you're out of it. I don't think that it will grab people. I think that a live exchange with some people, with viewers, is way more important. Of course, this is possible at Spiel Digital because it's everything. It's selling, it's demoing, it's playing, it's presenting. Everything is at Spiel Digital. But another problem is, and this is a main hurdle for me, is that if I'm saying I don't believe in pre-produced stuff, everything has to be live, but I can't delegate this to all the Spielworxx employees because there is none. So basically from Thursday morning till Sunday evening, I would have to stay 4 days in front of a camera. And even at ConWorxx for 1.5 days, this is already a lot, but I have some live games in between which I'm enjoying, so I don't feeling any stress. And one thing that I did not mention, after each presentation, after each game, after each new guest, there will be a 15-minute break. So let's say I'm talking to Claude for 45 minutes on Griffintown, but afterwards it would be 15 minutes before there would be before the next guest is starting. So at least I can have a drink or a snack or whatever, or whiskey in the evening. So we'll see. So that is the reason why I'm not at Spiel Digital. It's not because I don't like Merz Verlag. I love Dominique and her team, and I don't want that this becomes a failure. I think a success would help us or the whole business. And the good thing is that Spiel Digital had some time to learn what worked in earlier conventions and what did not work. So I think their advantage, so Dominique's advantage, is that Spiel is in October and not like UK Virtual Games Expo or Gen Con in August, or even there were some earlier conventions, so Renegade Convention and Simon online conventions, which were, in my opinion, both of them were awful, but at least they did something very early in Corona times. In the end, you have to say probably these two conventions were a failure, but at least they tried something and they were active. So I still give them my full respect. I see a remark here which I have to repeat in a second because it's again wonderful. Spying on the game. Do you have to sign up in advance for to be part of ConWorxx? No, you just come in here at the Twitch channel and you drop out and stay how long you ever want. And just one hint: if you want to win a game, bet on me. So I think I'm a real shark at the table. So I will win all games. That's why I'm doing ConWorxx. Yeah, Oliver is saying he prefers taking part in conventions directly run by a publisher. Yeah, for me it's a good thing, but on the other hand, I think it's good to have conventions by the huge organizations, be it Gen Con or be it Merz Verlag for Essen, because, of course, ConWorxx, there will be some fans and some other people, and afterwards some people will see the recorded videos. But I think it's important that these huge conventions, these huge events bring people together. And I can't do this, but even I think if, let's say in Germany, Cosmos is doing their own stuff, yes, there will be more viewers than at Spielworxx, because this is a larger company, but still it will be a minor affair. And hopefully, there will be some exchange of people who will be at the servers of Spiel Digital, so that, because gaming is so much of a social hobby and people need to get together, and I think this will start excitement as well. So yes, I like the publisher conventions, but I think there has to be both the publisher conventions and the huge ones at the same time. Yeah, as you're saying, in-person conventions are much better, of course. Yeah, we can have both in the future, I think so. Just think about, because I mentioned Ella earlier, and of course she is traveling to Germany, she is traveling to the US to conventions. But there will be lots of people in Oceania. Oops, no, I'm sorry, this is live and it's probably Ella calling me. I have to check this. Blennemann? Ja, kann ich Sie zurückrufen? Ja, das ist gut. Dankeschön. Ich bin nämlich gerade im Gespräch. Eine Sekunde. Tschüss. So, no, it was not Ella, it was somebody else. But I will return. So you see, everything is live here and amateur. First time even that somebody called during the show, which I had expected way earlier. But a lot of people from Oceania or Asia, they don't have an opportunity to attend these conventions. So these online conventions are fantastic. But this is there is a remark that I saw earlier. ConWorxx will be sponsored by Prosecco. Yeah, buy a Prosecco, of course, but ConWorxx will be sponsored by cheap Prosecco. And in the evening, you will see the cheap Prosecco. I will show it, and you will... maybe some of you know. I had it at Essen last year. I had lots of bottles of cheap ones. But I'm not sure if some of you got it. So probably I wanted to keep it for me. Okay, tabletop. Agreed. Yeah. So I think, is this a call-in show now? Yes, it is. It is. That's a number. That can stay here. So yeah, and that was somebody actually. He wanted to be part of ConWorxx. So he said, I better call in fast, but I hate Vessel. He said. So he's a tabletop simulator guy. So I had to answer, no, go to hell if you are playing tabletop simulator. Only Vessel is allowed. Yeah, very good. $3.95 for the first minute, 99 cents each additional minute. Yeah, this could be a model. So Daniel, I think you are in something for here. Very good. But if you need to know more about ConWorxx, drop me a mail, or you can spot this on my website. It's at the header. There's a special header, ConWorxx. There are some parts already in there, and I will fill this full program or almost full program in nearer to the actual convention. And I will definitely send out a newsletter. So if you are interested in regularly receiving spam from Spielworxx, you should subscribe to my newsletter, which the information is already at my website. Okay? Easily 20-minute phone call to hear the Yinzi rule booklet. I will read slowly. Even if I read fast, it's 20 minutes. But if I read slowly, I can certainly make this to 30 minutes. So easily. And yeah, thank you very much. This is very kind. You see there at spielen.de, so Spiel and then en, spielen.de. That's on his blog. You see some information on ConWorxx in German and in English language. And thank you also very much. There is already the link for the ConWorxx page. So wonderful. You are simply the best. And I'm not really the very best, because I'm having the very best as my guest next week. It's Jason Dinger. And we will talk about Crescent City Cargo and the whole Cajun trilogy. Hopefully, Matt, Daniel, this pronunciation was okay, so I will repeat, Cajun. And I think this will be a great show, and we will talk about, of course, Crescent City Cargo, but also a little bit about the second edition of Captains of the Gulf, and of course already about the third game, which we are also testing by Vessel, which is Acadians. So thank you for your time. If you would like to see a special topic discussed or would like to ask a question in advance, you can drop me an email at uli at, I'm forgetting my email address, at uli@spielworxx.de, that is uli@spielworxx.de. So till then, everybody, bleibt gesund, Black Lives Matter.